assume it's like anybody who's knowledgeable and passionate about what they do.
Now, the character is written as somebody with an idiosyncrasy for hats, a penchant for different hats. How are you playing him?
Well, I don't know how to answer that really. How do you play someone?
For example, he's Quebecois, so there's already a language thing there.
Yeah, he speaks often in French because their jockey Ronnie Turcotte was also French Canadian, so he speaks in French or sort of floats between the two languages. There's nothing particularly in any way, I think, outrageous or odd about Lucien Laurin. I don't much resemble him. First of all, he was quite dapper man, a bit older than me, although at the time maybe not so much older than me, a little bit maybe. He was small. He'd been a jockey. He'd been a horse trainer for years. Our story leaves out what in fact was their first successful horse, who was a horse called Riva Ridge the year before Secretariat, a stablemate of Secretariat's, who won 2 of the Triple Crown races but lost the Preakness, the middle one. They always say due to the fact that the track was very muddy that day, and he wasn't a horse that was very gifted on a muddy track. So Lucien Laurin had some success, and he'd had other successful horses in his life, but probably for a horse trainer, I don't know, perhaps at least at a certain level, I suppose you could be forgiven for thinking if you hadn't won the Derby or the Preakness or the Belmont Stakes, you had failed in some way. But it may also mean, but also one could probably say that maybe to some of them, ones especially that have had at least some degree of success, to not win the Triple Crown would be perhaps to them a sign of having failed. I mean, I'm not sure why, because I think it's quite a arduous, difficult thing to do, but...
Let's fix that mic real quick.
Okay.
Can you see it? Can you see bits of it? A little bit? No? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. John, Lucien and Penny, they with so much at stake, and having gone through this emotional arc together, there must have been a real relationship there.
Yeah, they were very close, yeah. And I hope our story communicates that too. But yeah, they were very close.
What's Diane like to work with?
Fantastic. Great. Fun to be around. Bright, responsive, and wants to do well. And I think those are all quite admirable qualities. And I think she likes this story very much.
Do you?
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Now, the horses that you've been working with in this, can you talk about the horses? What are they like? You know, they're all standing in for one horse.
Well, they aren't all. There's a whole group with Rusty and Rex, the Wranglers. They have several Secretariat doubles. The main one is a beautiful horse called Longshot that I think they bought in Oklahoma. And I can't remember if that one or one of the other one ones had won the Secretariat look-alike contest. Um, I think they may have 6 of them that quite closely resemble him. One is called Name That Tune. One is called Longshot, Name That Tune. Tony the Tiger. There's a quarter horse, which is not a thoroughbred, but which is extremely fast for a certain amount of time, called Copper Locks. That's very beautiful. Resembles Secretariat a good deal, although his mane is a little blonder. Longshot looks a lot like Secretariat. They all seem quite those I know. 2 of the other ones I think mostly only run. There's one called, no, because there's also one called, I think, Blinkers or Blinker, that also stands in at certain time. Longshot is the one we deal with the most in shot, who's quite calm and very, very easygoing, and very, very beautiful horse. And a couple of them are quite fast. And then there are a bunch of other horses standing in for Secretariat's great rival, who was called Sham. That was his great rival in the Triple Crown races in 1973, and many other horses. I don't know that there was a single one except for Sham who ran in all 3, but there are quite a few horses we use.
If you were telling somebody about this movie, just anything, what's the movie about? Is it about horses? Is it a horse movie? What is it about?
Well, I mean, it's a horse movie, but it's to a great extent a movie about a certain period in American time, when a woman like Tweety Penny Chenery, kind of took on the old boys and won. So I think it has a, wouldn't want to say feminist outlook, but it shows what this woman could accomplish given her determination and her will, and of course the opportunity. So I think it's to a great extent a story about her journey, and there are quite a few of us who are along with her on that journey. Her father's longtime secretary is played by Margot Martindale, Dylan Walsh's character, her husband, their children,